Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we're pretty cock-a-hoop this week. The black and white boys went and showed a bit of the form to those mountain goats.
The mountain goats got a good whacking. We missed 4 kicks, we had 2 tries, legitimately not given to us, but we thumped them. I heard a few boys in Cape Town on the air slinging off about the Sharks.
Pretty boy Snaith had a lot to say, that we shouldn't even turn up and that. But, this is for Pretty Boy.
Yeah.
You're out there smoking a cigar, boy.
Yeah, you tell him.
You know what? Absolutely jack all about tipping rugby matches. And really, your horse tips aren't much better. We watched you yesterday on air at Alcoa.
Yeah.
But you poor fish down there that climb mountains. You must go back to school, boys, because I tell you, we came with a plan, properly executed by a proper fly half, put you to bed properly.
It was never really a contest, and you could get 4.5 points plus the Sharks. So, you boys down in the mountains, another year, try again. Unbeaten for the year, no, not for me. Champions are the boys in black and white.
I think Nas used to say the Curry Cup's never won in May.
Yeah, with a bit more emphasis.
Let me tell you, it's won at Newlands. That's where it's won.
Yeah.
Well done to you, boys. Well done to the Sharks. And just a mention, Jonathan Kaplan, his last event, and he's just a fantastic guy, fantastic racing guy, and the best ref I've ever seen.
Yeah,
he's completely
fantastic.
Impartial.
Yeah.
He plays it and sees it like he sees it. No one gives him any grief on the field. Different class.
Different class. Jonathan Kaplan has raised the bar as a referee. I'm a great fan of his. It's a pity he's hung up his gloves, and it's fantastic that he's in horse racing. And well done to him for, I think he started in '94.
The shame with him is that he's got horses with the snails. That's really a gift.
He could be one of the 200 winners. They had a great year. Had a great year last year.
Good boys,
the boys.
Well done, and had a great day at Fairview yesterday, the boys. So well done to you, but keep the rugby tipping to yourselves. Let's go and have a look at our 3 to follow. Well, Bloodstock South Africa, as you know, we've got the ready-to-run sale at the weekend left. It's going to be a big one.
It's going to be a big one. I've looked at the pedigrees. I've been up to some of the gallops, and I've been very impressed. Again, everybody's raised the bar. I like using that term because I think it's going to be a lot of money changing hands again.
The big thing is that people must know out there is that Friday the sale starts at 4 o'clock.
Yes.
At the TBA complex at Gosforth Park, and Sunday is the second part of the sale. But if you need the DVDs, they're at all major racing centres. You want to see the DVD, or you can go to the www.tba.co.za, which is the website. You can watch all the gallops there. They've got a fantastic interactive site. You can move to whichever gallops you want to see.
You can see them all.
Those are a great help.
Yeah, just having a look at the current trends at the sales around the world, I think it's going to be a really big sale. And even when we're in a bit of a depression, Mickey Sell always, I can call him Mickey Sell because he's made it a great success, and I think it's going to be a big sale. Get up there if you can and try and buy a really decent horse. Don't forget what these horses will be racing for. That's the key.
3 million next year. 3 million's a stake at least. If there's more added to the sweepstakes, you might get more. But let's go and have a look at our 3 to follow, brought to you by the TBA.
Yeah, here's the first one we're looking at, and this is an unraced horse called Pearl Ware, I think it is. I think they've got Wave written there.
Pearl Ware is her name.
And it's in Mary Slack's colours, and it's on the fence. Loretta Mahapi, the apprentice, rides it. Your eventual winner is in the Bernard Silks in front, a horse called Pulla, and its danger is in red further back. But have a look at the horse we've found. There it is, red cap on the fence, debut run.
Yeah, and turns into the straight. It's by Silvana out of a Fortwood mare. You wouldn't think it's got the pace to go this type of trip, but certainly ran on really well. And quite a tender ride. You see the guy only pulls his stick very late in the race, but weaves her way through. She'll come on a lot from this, and this could be a very nice filly. She's got great action. You can watch her striding out there. Puller, great ride from the front. Brandon Larena around Greyville is deadly. He's a very, very good jockey.
He's a very polished rider. I like the way he keeps it going. He gets challenged from all sides on Puller, and you can see he eventually wins on Puller. But the horse we found is just getting scrubbed with the hands, trying to get into the race, and running towards the last 200 meters. He gets it a clear run, and it's probably got 2 or 3 to find still.
Yeah, it switches here, and well, it just goes on. up the inside, and about here he gives it a smack, pulls the stick, gives it a smack, and she absolutely flies to get beaten a neck. And I think this filly will improve.
Nice to see. That was the first race back on the track at Greyville. Nice to see.
Perfect. And it was, look, the track was a bit firm, which you could expect because the weather conditions haven't been great, but really good racing and fantastic to be back at Greyville. And we've got Tony Riverland later on come to talk to us about all the improvements and stabling and tracks and whatever. It's going to be a fascinating interview with Laf. You can catch that on our website, on the Winning Ways website. You'll see that there as well. But let's move on to the second of our three to follow. We go to Cape Town, to the Mountain Goats headquarters, and Kenilworth Racecourse is the spot. There was some fabulous racing there over the weekend, and we pick up the first one in race 1, House of Lorraine.
Yeah, this runs in Marcus and Ingrid's colours, so we all know those colours. You can see it's been highlighted, or the gate is coming out. It walks out. It has the white face, and you know the black cap of Ingrid and Marcus Yours. Trained by Brett Crawford. Glenn Hat rides it, called House of Lorraine. Now this race, there was a lot of talk about speed horses. There were a few Vars. Gavin Van Zyl had one out there that was supposed to be very quick. And interesting how quickly they went. And this horse is way off. It's lost as you have a look now, James.
It's actually being scrubbed along there at the back. It's just in picture. You can see it now, sort of 3 off the left-hand side of your picture. Comes out for a run, doesn't really get any help at all. The race is won by a nice filly, funny enough, Marty's Wildercut, Mike Bass trained, properly prepared for the races first time out and certainly came home. But here she's battling to get through, one off the left-hand side, still up the horse with the Blues backside. Now she gets out, and watch this filly run on. This really is impressive because she gets a couple of the sort of waves, you know, the Glen Hat waves, and here she really starts motoring down, and then the hands on the neck and just punched out to the last 5 or 6 strides.
Brett Crawford's got to be chuffed with that race, and so do the owners. A really, really good debut. And interesting enough, our informant gave us that one. Check us out next to the two
yeah, well, the Joburg informant is sitting there and watching the Joburg racing, obviously watching the whole racing. So he came up with this one as well. Next race, we go to, let's go to Turfentine. And same day, 26th of October. Interestingly enough, the Eusters won this race as well as the last one, and they had this one we're going to follow. But these were stable companions, and the interesting thing about it is the black cap seems to be the one that's
not ready.
Yeah, not ready. Always a black cap. Forget the black cap, okay? Although in the old days they used to have the colours on the horse that came first in the race card. That was the right colours. And then the others had different caps. So the first horse in the race card, but this horse had the black cap, and the other one had the proper colours on. So let's go and have a look at it.
That's right. There are 2 horses running here from the Alec Laird stable. Let's have a look. This is a horse called Gull Wing. It's got the black cap on. On his outside is a stablemate with the yellow cap who jumps well. This horse here, Gull Wing, doesn't know what's going on and is soon adrift.
Tailed off, under pressure, battling to go with them. Martinez Mini scrubbing it along. And the one that they backed is being tugged on in 4th place by Julius Mariba, just cantering along beautifully, and it actually wins with no sweat. But watch this horse is not even in picture now. He's out the back there. Look at him. He's getting with the black sleeves and the black cap. Now gets switched right out to the outside. But he's just getting scrubbed to be kept in the race. I think when when Minnie puts effort into him, you see how he runs on.
Yeah, we don't get to see him much because it's a side-on view. He's so far adrift. But while we're waiting for him to come into view, have a look at the yellow cap. This is a JPEG called Peg for Glory, the stablemate, who wins a cracking race. JPEG's certainly doing very, very well, and this is a good win.
Excellent win. I think he's a very nice-looking horse. He looked good in the canter pass. They put the money on him like soldiers, and he ended up winning a very good race indeed. But the horse we picked out still not even in the picture. Watch him here. He gets in the picture and starts getting a roll on, and rolls beautifully to the post. And imagine how much ground he made up because he was completely under pressure. He'll improve.
Absolutely. Well done. Those are our 3 to follow, James, and all 3 good runs. And thanks to our informant in Joburg, who got on our cases.
Without him, we can't run this show. And he's got his eye on the ball the whole time. He does snick a couple to snips, but let me tell you, he's a man on the mark. And let's move on. We're going to go and watch Blast from the Past. We got Dancing Brave, and we got him winning the 2,000 guineas. It's a great run. Watch this.
Raven is a strong pointer to the Guineas run over the same course and distance. This year, the field featured top 3-year-old Sure Blade and the Dewhurst winner, Huntingdale. After a slowly run race, speed was the decisive factor in the closing stages. Dancing Brave shows his awesome acceleration that becomes the hallmark of the season. The one to get nearest to him is the extremely fast Green Desert, a champion horse over 6 furlongs.
By Hail to Roberto and followed now by Green Desert. Then comes the favourite Dancing Brave, nicely placed in 3rd. Hallgate has made up ground now to go into 4th. On the near side is Sherwood. On the inside of him in the same ownership is Sure Blade. Then with the yellow sleeves just tracking the leaders on the inside, that is Vainglorious. They've completed 2.5 furlongs now, and it's still Cash as Mewson on Hail to Roberto, making the running in the 2,000 guineas. Followed by Green Desert, then Greville Starkey and the favourite Dancing Brave going really well in 3rd. Over on the far side is Tate Gallery, one of the 2 for Ireland. The other one, Toca Madeira, is tucked in the centre. They're coming inside the final half mile. It's back to Graham.
Not that much pace on early on. A lot of the jockeys taking quite a strong hold with their mounts, but it's Hail to Roberto who leads as they come down to the point past the bushes, 2.5 to race, and Hail to Roberto in the lead. Green Desert looks a big challenger in the blue jacket. Behind these Faustus, Hallgate starts to pick up ground. Vainglorious and the favourite Dancing Brave in the white sleeves comes with a tremendously powerful run as they go down into the dip. This Dancing Brave from Green Desert, these ahead of Hail to Roberto. Then comes Vainglorious Sherwood with the favourite Dancing Brave, strikes the front with Dancing Brave, quickens up in the start of a very good horse in this general accident 2,000 guineas. Dancing Brave, Greville round, Starkey looks round, no danger, Dancing Brave. Green Desert, Huntingdale 3rd, Sherwood 4th.
Green Desert's jockey Walter Swinburne was amazed.
I've never been down that hill so fast. I mean, I was motoring. I forget what they said they ran the last 2 in, but it was something unbelievable. And then this thing came flying by.
The winning distances were simply 3 lengths between 1st and 2nd, a length and a half between 2nd and 3rd. But there's our winner, Dancing Brave. And Greville Starkey, having won his 2nd 2,000 guineas, successful back in 1981 on Tour Gorimu. And Greville always said that this horse was a better horse than that particular Guineas winner, and he was proved right.
Well, what a race, and we'll see next week. We're going to watch him get beaten in the Derby, because that was probably the butcher of all time. But I know that you're quite interested in the groom here.
Yeah, I wonder if many people noticed who the groom was. David Moyes, the manager of Man United, who was the groom. When you watched
the way Man United are playing, they say they plays like he was a groom's.
Yeah, nice to see David Moyes there in the photograph. But there we go, a great racehorse, proved it all over the place, and Stinker Starkey and the Derby next week.
That should be fun. We're going to move on and have a look at Plum of the Week.
Coming out of the 300 though, Piano Man on the inside. It's Piano Man. King's Gold becomes a danger on the outside. Coming to the last 200, Piano Man and King's Gold. And Happy Forever is now coming on strongly on the outside, but King's Gold hits the front. And it's King's Gold, Happy Forever on the outside. These are the 2. King's Gold and Happy Forever is nothing in it at the wire. Happy Forever. King's Gold 2nd, maybe Tipper turned to 3rd, and then Piano Man.
Right, well, let's have a quick look at that. And Happy Forever, owned by illustrious Andrew Fortune and the Polo partners, Berg and Wickens and Ramsden and the whole team. And 22 to 10 best you could got with the bookmakers. 3 to 1 into bets, and you were happy forever if you backed that one.
Yeah, what is the ruling on jockeys? They can own and they can bet, can't they? Can they bet if they're riding in the race?
They're not allowed to ride anything but their own horse in the race. They've got to ride their own horse. They can't ride
so
someone
jockeys
else's
could.
horse,
So
yeah.
Pierre Stradham, just for example, could buy a few horses. He's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
He could buy a few horses and they could race. But if they
Has
run,
got a lot of money.
Well, I don't know. But I don't know. He's got more than me, I'd say.
I know Robbie Hill and
Mace.
Mace and Gavin Van Zel. They
Just
got
staying with Mace, he's
Yeah.
very keen to do that suggestion we had in your call last week, where he gets 5 or 6 of the retired
It's
jockeys.
going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. He wants to bring Michael Kinane over, and he said he wants to get it out there and make it happen. And he says, you shouldn't have a go at these guys because you've given up. We're still as good as the current jockeys. Now, I still think he's on the green stuff. The current jockeys are way too fit. He suggested a 1,000-metre race, then a 1,200, not on the same day, and then an 1,800.
Yeah.
But they want to pick
What
first.
happened? Why can't we go 1,000 metre, 1,200, 1,600 and 2,000? When by then he'll be a bit fitter.
Yeah, well, he says he'll be fit. Funny enough,
3 months.
Him, Garth Puller, the Prince,
Yeah.
they're all weighed.
Yeah. Van Zel.
Yeah, Van Zel.
He's away, but
now they'll get him back
yeah,
for this.
we'll get him.
They want 2 months' notice. So, Mace, we're working on your idea. He said he wants to bring Mick Kinane over.
Yeah,
as a
I think that
celebrity.
the only chance they got is we bring Andrew Fortune back from the island. You know.
No, he's still a qualified jock. Did you
Yeah.
see Fortune's celebrations when he won
Tells
the
of
big
bravery.
Tells of
Beautiful,
bravery.
beautiful to
He
watch.
was sure.
Yeah.
You think
He's the best advert for racing that we got, and we should use him a lot
Yeah.
more than we do. He gets to the common person. Let's go and have a break, and we'll be back. Well, let's go straight into our current affairs, and we've got the first on the list, and there are a list of races all around the country, but we're going to go and have a look at the Cox Plate, because this was a phenomenal achievement by one of our favorite sons of the jockey, and we'll have an intro first.
Right, there we go. As James alluded to, we're going to get straight into the current affairs. And the Cox Plate is the race. And James, before we show the race, just I think we should tell a little bit of a story around the race. And that is ridden by Chad Schofield, who is one of the great young riders in Australia. His father's a great rider, and a wonderful moment for him.
Well, why we're showing him? Because Glenn Schofield did his apprenticeship here. He's a South African born and bred, and moved overseas. I think he went to Hong Kong first, and then moved to Australia with his brother-in-law Jeff Lloyd, and their brother-in-laws on track.
They're the married sisters, yeah.
Yeah, and Aubrey Roberts' daughters, I
That's
think,
right.
are married. And so it's a South African family, and this kid Chad grew up in South Africa, and he's taken out an apprentice jockey's license in Australia, and he's really done very well.
He's a superb rider. I'll get over there because of the Magic Million sales, and he was the lead in the 2 states that he's ridden in. He was the leading apprentice.
New South Wales, Victoria, I think those are the 2 states.
He's a really great kid. I spent a bit of time with him. He came out to the sales. He's a great rider. And when David Hayes takes you under your wing, it's got to be a big plus, James. And they're a wonderfully proud moment for all the South Africans, especially the family. Well done to them. They've all relocated to Australia. And I think his sister went down to watch him ride in the Cox Plate.
Let's go and pick him up in the Cox Plate. Seamus Award is the horse's name. Chad Schofield on a maiden winning the Cox Plate.
It's a done deal, jumps well near the inside. Side glance was a bit slow. Murakilok and Seamus Award away quickly. The grey Puissance Staloon right there with Long John as well. Down to the judge, Puissance Staloon wanting to over race early. Long John 3 wide. Seamus Award kicks up and he's going to lead in the Cox Plate. Side glance recovers quickly. He's got up 4th along the inside. They were followed by Super Cool. Next Murakilok and Fiorente going around the outside. Trap deep, followed by Happy Trails. It's a done deal. Can't get in at the moment either. They're being followed then by Rekindled Interest. Fortello along the inside. Sevilla's out very wide from Mars Marvel, and Green Moon is at the tail end of the field, making their way towards the 1,200 metres. Seamus Award led narrowly. Super Cool on his outside. Side glance a length away. Fiorente's right up there. He's in 4th placing. He's done a bit of work and he's still 3 wide. A length Long John getting a nice trail. Followed Puissance Staloon. It's a done deal. A length further back in the field. Then Murakilok, the outside of Happy Trails. 2 lengths behind them. Fortello with 1,000 to go. Seville Rekindled Interest are next. Then came Masked Marvel and Green Moon as last of all. Seamus Award, the leader in the Cox Plate at the 800. Fiorente is now only a neck away. Side Glance running third on the inside of Super Cool. 2 lengths then to Long John, Puissance Staloon, and It's a Done Deal out wider. Happy Trails next from Mull of Killock, and they're followed by Seville. Foretellers well back with Rekindled Interest and Masked Marvel, and still Green Moon is last. 500 left to go. Seamus Award a neck in front of Fiorente running second, and they're followed wider out now. It's a Done Deal starting to run on, and Sevilla's coming. Then Super Cool. Puissance Staloon was battling around the turn into the straight. Still Seamus Award and Fiorente going at one another. 3 lengths in front from Super Cool. Here comes Happy Trails. It's a Done Deal was boxing on, but Seamus Award still led by a length and a half, and he shook off Fiorente. Happy Trails is coming down the outside, and Foretellers coming. Seamus Award in front. Happy Trails having the last lunge at him. He dives, misses. Seamus Award. The maiden has won it from Happy Trails and Fiorente. Close up Foreteller, Super Cool, and then came Side Glance, followed in by...
Sure, magical moment, especially seeing that horse when, as James said, a maiden. This horse, every run's been in a group race, James.
Yeah, he's had 6 runs, 5 runs before this race, placed in group races all the way through to Group 1, a couple of Group 2s and Group 3s, and ends up winning the Cox Plate as a maiden. Can you imagine?
James, just another interesting thing about that race is that Bart Cummings was trying to get a qualifier horse for the race. His grandson was down there. He's an old man today. To give him his 88th runner in the Cox Plate. That's amazing.
Amazing man.
88 in the
Amazing
Cox Plate.
man.
But Danny O'Brien, the trainer, Chad Schofield, the rider. So well done to everyone there. And it's by Schnitzel out of a Success Express mare. There we go.
And that went 2,000 metres by Schnitzel out of a Success Express mare. That's pure speed in that van.
There we go.
Okay, well, let's go and move on from there and go and have a look at the Yellowwood Handicap. That was a Turfentine, and that was on
The 23rd.
23rd.
Old Kindy and Cyclone Michelle at the top of the straight. They got 800 meters left to go. So the leader is Magic Smoke. It's a length in front. Second place is Golden Dawn. Up towards the inside is Flitter. Then we go back to Classic Illusion into the clear, and it's got 2 to make up. Mystic Tigress is further back in the run. Go Indigo's down the inside. Cyclone Michelle is further back, but now Classic Illusion past the 500 took over the lead and went on a length and a half. Magic Smoke's in second. Flitter's up the inside. Then comes Mystic Tigress. Formation has got 3 to make up, but it's Classic Illusion, the horse to overhaul. Second position is Cyclone Michelle. Then comes Formation. She's still got 3 to make up. Classic Illusion still the leader. She fights on gallantly. Cyclone Michelle up the outside is bidding to cause an upset. Classic Illusion still finds, and Classic Illusion won it. Second goes to Cyclone Michelle. Then came Formation and Mystic Tigress ahead of Magic Smoke.
Yeah, very, very good win for Gary Alexander. Joe Gardner's colours, you said?
Yeah, Joe Gardner's colours, Joan Bruce, and
Yeah.
Summerhill's Syndicate. I think she's a Carl filly. This is a very nice filly.
Very nice
and
filly.
Stays well and well prepared by these guys for this race. And
Yeah.
by the Alexander twins, as you call them.
That's right.
Kamala rode it.
Yeah,
Good for them.
Kamala, and James, that was it was run on a Wednesday because of the rain on the Tuesday. So this meeting was, as you say, run on the 23rd. So well done. The track looked great on the 23rd.
Yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Good racing too.
Yeah.
Let's move on and go into Kenilworth on the 26th of October. And we're going to pick up the Cape Classic, the elusive Fort Cape Classic. It was a grade 3, and here's probably the best 3-year-old in South Africa.
7 lengths off this leader. Flash Drive is on the outside of runners, but corners a little deep as he makes a little progress. Empress Forest further back, then comes to Cock. He's well back early on. Legislate races outside of him, and they're about 9-10 lengths off his leader. Sail South is the trailer. Off the false rail and homeward bound, just over 400 metres left to go, and Ace Antonius brought the field for home. Red Ray, quick to challenge in the centre of the course. He's coming home nicely with plenty of running in him. Sagittator's wider out in the track. Between runners, Antonius Dubois. De Kock is also unwinding a good-looking effort over towards the inside, but it's Red Ray who's come forward to pick it up, and Red Ray's in a class of his own. He's galloping away from the opposition. The battle's on for the places. Red Ray draws off to win it comfortably. It's a blanket finish for second. Up on the outside, maybe Legislate. De Kock was back towards the inside. Plenty with...
Well, there we go, Red Ray, and I think this was a superstar. He beat this field. I'm going to stick my neck out, James. I don't think it was a great field behind him, but he's a fantastic horse. Wonderful break. He rested in Natal after he had his only defeat to Willow Magic up in the Harveld, and Joe's done a great job with him. He's gone back and he blew this field away. This is a very, very good horse, James.
Yeah, I think you're right. He certainly is, I think, the best 3-year-old in South Africa at the moment. We see a lot of pretenders, but they've got to come to the party, and this horse really came to the party here.
Cape Guineas, James?
Yeah, I would think that.
He's eligible for that 2 million ready to run him. Have I got my facts right? I know they're making a decision of where to run him. I might be wrong on that, but got everything at his feet, this horse.
Right, and then we go to Port Elizabeth for the Algoa Cup, which was meant to be run on the turf, and because we have this poly track, and this is the most exciting innovation that we've seen in this country and soon to be here in KwaZulu-Natal. But have a look at this race. It's a great race and a magnificent ride from Robbie Frad. The ex-KwaZulu-Natal horse ran second, Storm Dancer. He left here as a one-time winner from Mike Miller's yard. He ran a great race. Very, very good race, and good racing on Sunday because they couldn't race on the grass. It was too wet, you know.
Yeah, great backup. A wonderful race, the Algoa Cup. I've won it before, James.
Yeah.
With Shining Rock. Shining Rock. Jeff Lloyd rode it for me, yeah. Shining Rock. I went down. I remember I flew down for the race, and I was sick as a dog. I didn't even lead it in. I was lying around. Matthew Lips led it in for me. I was in the sick room. But Jeff Lloyd, great ride. So I know this race. It's a great, great race. And let's go and have a look at it.
Aston uses back on the rail. Then behind it one we got Johnny Rockets and Forrest Digger now as the field work their way now with about 600 metres to go in the betting world. Algoa Cup now and Brown Penny's on the lead from Way Clear's come through to race second. In behind that True Master and Storm Dancer. Then comes Indian Walk. Disco Alice moving closer down the inside. A boy named Sue. They've been followed by Forrest Digger. They're all looking to get closer now in the short straight now in the betting world. Algoa Cup with 300 metres to go. Way Clear's holding on. True Master down the inside is looking to apply pressure. Storm Dancer's putting in a powerful run down the outside. It's Disco Elia. It's Storm Dancer and Disco L the outside. Storm Dancer. Disco L. These two. Storm Dancer. Disco L got it from Storm Dancer. Abercrombie and Cask.
Here we go, and wonderful race. Very tight finish in a close bunch. And as you say, Robbie Frad. Again, we see Marcus Jooste come into four. He was with Anand Singh.
Yeah, they were partners in this. This Captain Al, he's out of Studio 54. You remember the
Yes.
Badgerland mare? I think the late Michael Airy.
Great Michael Airy trained it, John. And Captain L, great stallion.
He's done it. You know, I remember when he was racing with Vaughan
Yes,
Marshall.
that's right.
And Vaughan had a lot to do with his stud career. I think he did very, very well, this horse.
I know John Costa's very close to this horse, Captain L. And well done to everyone concerned. And Joey Ramsden again.
Yeah,
Nice for Joey.
Ramsden.
Well done to Joey. He got
Just
this one
talking
spot
about
on.
you know, Joey Ramsden, he's not a real mountain goat, but he's part of the
relocated.
crew. Okay, yeah. He's actually what they call a soap peel. You know, that's what you call him, a soap peel.
Okay,
Yeah,
I don't want to know what that means.
Okay, well,
but he's an Englishman.
He's a
in my book.
soti, okay, yeah. But the
He's an
point is,
Englishman.
just that young Justin, you know, I can't get away from these boys. They are so fascinating to watch. Justin stands on TV there and he's saying, Jonathan went, when he heard that the racing was switched to the poly track, he'd flown to PE, he got on the aeroplane and flew back home.
There they go.
Said, we got no chance. They had 3 winners or 4 winners. They had a great day. Jono, you know, really, pull yourself together.
Okay, we've got other
it's all
racing
about
news.
fun.
And talking about polytracks, we will be speaking to Tony Rivland about polytracks. He knows a lot about them. He's been and seen them over the world. He's been and seen the PE1. But let's talk about what's happening. Other things I want to talk about, first of all, is the Woodbine International Stakes. Now, this was run over the weekend, and the interesting fact, it was won for the 3rd time by Joshua Tree.
Yeah, he's had 3 different trainers.
3 different jockeys.
And
He's also
different jockeys.
Now, he's owned by, let me get their names. I wrote them down.
You don't want to train for them.
If you don't want to train for these guys, let me find their name here somewhere. They're owned by KK Al Nabuda and K Al Bahu. So if they send you horses, you're not going to have them for too long. Just remember, if you get a text from these two, 3 owners. I mean, 1 owner, 3 trainers, 3 jockeys, and it was run up in this race. The lucky trainer this year, Ed Dunlop. Ryan Moore, and this horse had, funny enough, gone out and ran, I think, led them in the Arc.
Yeah, he was a pacemaker.
Pacemaker in the Arc, and he's gone over and he's won. He loves this race, and it's the last race, funny enough, this Canadian International Stakes, the Group 1, for $1 million. It's the last race the Secretariat won.
Yeah.
In his illustrious career. So that's Joshua Tree. Keep an eye out for those owners. If they send you an email, say you're full. All right, Jones, another interesting horse is Kingston Hill. Now, Kingston Hill was supplemented to go for the Racing Post Trophy, a Group 1 race. And they were confident that they could go. Roger Varian and the trainer, the jockey, I don't know the jockey, you know a little bit more about. What's his name? Andre Azzeni.
Andrea Azzeni. He's an Italian boy, okay, and he came over to England to ride for Marco Botti. He's ridden a couple of group winners, and his main stable is Marco Botti's stable, but he rides a lot for Roger Varian. Apparently this boy's got some ability. I was speaking to Mace yesterday. I said, is he a boy or a girl? Because his name's Andrea, and that, you know.
Yeah.
He said, well, Mace said, no, he's German.
Go, Mace.
So then I had to go on the website and look it up. Mace, Mace will probably sign him up to ride for the veterans. He's about 20 years old.
They're close enough. But the interesting thing about this horse, Kingston Hill, now, he hasn't been nominated for the Derby. He's bound Master Craftsman, the first crop of Master Craftsman. There were 2 Master Craftsmen in the race. And he's out of Maremba Quest mare. Great start for a stallion, James.
And he should, by the way he's bred, he'll go all day.
Go all day. Maremba Quest
lovely
mare,
action, beautiful
owned by a
action.
guy called Paul Smith, and they're going to consider all their options as he has time off.
Okay.
And there was one other thing, James. We had anabolic steroids. What's the latest there now?
Well, they've been banned in South Africa at long last. It's taken them a long time to get their act together, the NHRA. The amazing thing about the banning, which really slays me, is that the rules said in the rule book, as far as anabolic steroids and their use was concerned, you couldn't have them in a horse for 40 days prior. It took you 40 days of clearance time.
Yeah.
Well, he'd done this amazing thing where they're banned from the 1st of December, okay? They should have been banned from the 1st of November.
And 6 months afterwards.
And then 6 months, 1st of June. Why didn't and they said 6 months to clear the horses of anabolic steroids that have been given them. Well, it must be endemic, the anabolic steroids use, if it takes 6 months to clear
It's
them.
happening worldwide, James. This banning of the steroids. There are exceptions. People mustn't forget. You've got a biliary case. You can get express permission with your vet to help and assist horses. You know,
Listen,
there is a place for them, but not in racing.
I think that's the point. But why 6 months slays me. I would think the maximum you would need is 2 months, 60 days. Okay, and then
maybe there's some new stuff out there, but who knows? And I hope it extends, James, right through all ages.
Well, it's got to extend right through the horse industry. It's got to extend to the breeding of horses.
Absolutely.
And certainly the preparation of horses for
sales
and ready-to-run sales. Any of these sales has got to be extended all the way through.
I agree. It's important, James, that they say these horses come to sales and they are steroid-free.
Absolutely. There are a couple of other things that we need to talk about. The Breeders' Cup week this week.
Yes.
You know, the Breeders' Cup at Santa Anita on the weekend, and hopefully we'll get to watch it. I've been reading the web pages. There's a very interesting. Rene Douglas was an ex-jockey. He got paralyzed in an accident, and he's got a runner in the race, and ridden by his great friend who's a journeyman jockey. He's only run third in one Breeders' Cup race. His name escapes me, but that just shows you.
But
anyway.
James, while you're talking about America, haven't they got celebrity commentators once a month? Or?
Well, yeah, at Santa Anita this month, they brought in a celebrity commentator, and there's a fabulous picture on TDN of Trevor Denman helping the celebrity Conan O'Brien.
The guy from TV.
Yeah, he's got his own show, the Conan O'Brien show.
Yes.
Well, Conan O'Brien's got some phrases that he uses on his show. Let's go boys, or all these things. Yeah. And he used all the phrases in the commentary. And they said to him afterwards, what do you think about this commentary? He says, no, I'm going to bring a class action suit against Santa Anita Racecourse, Los Angeles Racing, and everyone concerned, because he says it's too difficult to call the colors. There were 2 horses with white colors and 2 horses with green colors. It's too difficult to call the colors. It was very funny.
Isn't it a great idea?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
The authority should look at saying, let's have once a month in each province a celebrity commentator who wants to do it, who's not forced into doing it, who wants to do it. Imagine listening to a commentary by, who's a celebrity, James, you can think of?
I can think
sporting
of Leon Schuster.
Yeah, imagine Leon Schuster doing a commentary, or Gordon Iggerson, or here we are, have a look at this.
Yeah, this is the Parade magazine, the new one that's out. Wonderful publication. Get to your local bookshop or get hold of Parade. Andrew Harrison, have a look at it. It's got some great articles. We're going to move on. I think that's it left. We've done our bit. We're going to move on and have a chat with Tony Rivlin.
Hi and welcome to another edition of Your Call. We've got Tony Rivelin, I'll get that out, with us this week because some time back we had Michelle Narak talking about what's happening with the stablings and the tracks, and we've now had our first meeting back at Greyville. I'd like to talk to Tony about certain developments. He can elaborate on what we touched on, and Tony, thanks very much for coming in.
Pleasure,
You've made me look not quite as handsome as I normally am, taking James's seat. James is a howler, you know, so let's get straight into business now. We spoke to Michelle Narak firstly about the building of stables and Polytrack up there. Firstly, we'll keep saying firstly, what is Polytrack?
That Polytrack is a synthetic surface that was invented by Martin Collins in England many, many years ago. Obviously, it's gone through many stages in its lifestyle, in its history, and today I think it's most probably the synthetic surface by which tracks are benchmarked. In Australia, you've got a company called ProRide. As you know, we were seriously looking at ProRide. Also a very good surface. I was very impressed with it when I saw it there. But undoubtedly, Polytrack have got a track record. Poly's been, as you know, has been installed at Fairview. It was very successfully raced on over this last meeting. And that's the synthetic surface that we've chosen for Greyville and Somerville.
Are there many countries using it?
Mainly England and France at this stage. In Melbourne, they've just put in a Polytrack at Caulfield, and I must say it received very good reviews, especially from Peter Moody and a few of those people, top trainers there, so they're happy with it. They don't race on it there at Caulfield, they train on it at the moment.
And you went over, I think you and Graham Hawkins went over and looked at all these different surfaces and came back with the Polytrack as the best. And it's nice to see that we're getting it in a few areas in this country.
Correct, Lef. Look, there's no doubt that at the time of the year when you get this inclement weather, you can't race on a grass surface. What a wonderful alternative. Also, I think people must understand that some of these horses don't all perform that well on grass. You see when you send horses to the Vaal sand track, how horses form, there's a metamorphosis in the way their form changes. And I think that also happened on Polytrack. It was interesting to note that over the weekend, some horses had never been on the Polytrack in their life. They took it like a duck out of water, handled it straight away. It's a footing, it's a very safe and sure footing. It's unlike sand, and it mimics grass, I would say, to a degree, and possibly a little kinder than sand. And
they don't go in too deep, do they?
No, they don't. It also depends on the type of materials that you've used in it. Because poly is really a combination of two types of fiber, a silica sand, which the company Polytrack are very strong on finding the right sand, because obviously the track still mainly consists of sand, and all those particles are wrapped in wax binders, and that's what gives it this cohesive material, cohesive effect, and also that gives it a little bit of spring in the ground. You know.
Will the handicappers face a situation where they'll have to have 3 sets of merit ratings? The dirt up in Gauteng, the Polytrack in Port Elizabeth and Greyville, and turf. Could that happen?
It could. Theoretically, it could happen, Lef. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to wait and see how horses' form pans out on the poly compared to the grass, and see what the difference is. That's what they did with sand racing initially. As you know, there weren't there weren't dual ratings. After a period of time when they realized the difference in horses' forms, sand relative to grass, we introduced a dual rating system, and it's quite possible that we'll end up with a 3-tier system. But I'm not so sure about that. I don't believe horses' forms will change that radically on poly.
And when the torrential rains come, we can race on?
Yeah, listen, I think if it's been raining all day, and when you go into the meeting and it's raining hard, you may find that the track hasn't been able to percolate as quick as you would like. But in most cases, very, very few instances will you not be able to race on a poly track. You see in England, they race in all sorts of weather, sleet. Very seldom do they cancel a race meeting on the poly in England.
A question was put to me the other day by someone saying, it's wonderful to have the backup in case you get inclement weather, but we have a situation where you have a Group 1 on turf and the heavens up. Will they put that Group 1 on poly?
It's something we haven't discussed yet, but if you look at the weekend, they put the Algoa Cup onto the poly track.
3.
Yeah, and I think the form horses, I think
ran well.
all ran well. So it's something we'd have to discuss, obviously.
Yeah, it's going to be looked at. All right, so that's the story with the poly, and we're happy things are on course.
Yes, things are on well, I'd say poly are possibly a little bit behind schedule, which has concerned us. But I'm sure they'll catch up. They know what they're doing. They're experienced in this.
Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is the stabling. A lot of people have horses trained down here by their trainers in Clearwood. They know that there's a relocation program coming into effect. How many stables, I'm going to just go back to basics, how many stables are we building up at Summerfield?
We're building 500 in total left on 13 different platforms.
Okay, and they're well down the road because I train up there. I see them, the foundations are going in. When do they hope to have them finished?
They'll come on stream at different times, but by the end of 2014, June 2014, all the stables are, that's the timeline, that's when they're all supposed to be finished.
June 2014?
June 2014, and then the plan is to move the Clearwood trainers up to Summerfield at the end of the July season next year.
Okay, and what type of stables or barns are there?
Yeah, they're barn type stables, Lef. Unusually designed in that they've got the passageways have got this nice high ceiling to aid with ventilation and to keep it cool. The stables are nearly 16 square meters in size, each stable, so quite a bit bigger than the present Summerfield stables. Stick a few trainers out in bedding. Nice wide passageways. We're using a wood and galvanized partition finishing in the passageways to give it some color. It'll be a sealed block up until roof height, and thereafter we'll bag and paint it to give it some light. I think they'll be very attractive, they really will be, and very horse friendly.
Now you've got a situation where you have the incumbents, and I'll use people like Alistair Gordon and Dennis Dry, who've been there for many, many years. They probably opened the doors up at Summerfield. And then you've got some wonderfully talented trainers coming up, or a lot of good trainers coming up from Clearwood. What's the allocation process like?
Laf, what we decided to do was, in fairness, the guys that have trained in KwaZulu-Natal the longest will get first opportunity to take up any one of the new barns in Summerfield. We've given the trainers until the end of November to come back to us to determine first of all, the number of stables they require and whether or not they'd like to be housed in the new section. And obviously we'll have to sit down. It'll be a process then where you as chairman of the Trainers Association will get involved. We'll bring management into this process as well. And we'll try and fairly allocate the stables and keep as many people happy as possible.
A lot of guys won't move to the new.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Dennis Dry's not moving, Alistair Gordon's not moving, you not moving. I haven't decided yet. Mike Miller might move. We're the oldest 5 at Summerfield, so you know 3 of the 5 are definitely not moving, and Mike's undecided, and so am I. I've got a nice yard, but you know maybe in the latter years of my training career, I might like go somewhere different.
Number.
Yeah. So, yeah, nice small number.
Let's just talk about other things there. A lot of people have got stables, and I wouldn't leave because of my access to my paddocks and things like that. What about people who've got treadmills, walkers? They take up space, paddocks. Well, what is that like?
That's been a big challenge in the new area. As you can see by the topography there. So if you noticed all the barns, they're of different sizes. They range from 20, there's 3 times 20, there's a 22 horse barn, there's 2 30 horse barns, and then they range from 41s to 43s and 47s and 56s up to 64. It's just because of the topography there at Summerfield that it worked out that way. Obviously built on a little bit of a slope, it's been quite a challenge to put in paddocks, although the bottom half, the main 6 platforms, we've got 50 meters of ground that we leased from Tongaat Hewlett. We had a bit of the ground ourselves. It's a lovely flat area that'll be walkways. Guys can put a horse walker there and some paddocks. And on the, I think it's the southeastern side of the stable area, the new stable area, that's behind the number 3 in grass track. There's 5 platforms there. We've identified an area where we'll be comfortably able to fit 6 paddocks, and we'll be able to fit in 1 or 2 horse walkers in that area.
Okay. Let's go and have a look at our sponsors' message. Here we go. I know that name. Goldie Coast, successful graduate, winning yesterday in the 10th race at Clarewood, and Schwazier filly won. So, Tone, let's get back. How many horses can use Summerfeld's facilities? I know we're going to have the folly track as well in place by the time they arrive. And how do you determine how many horses can work on the track before you've got too many on it?
Look, it's an interesting question that. I don't know if there's a correct number. Obviously, it depends on the tracks, how you prepare the tracks, the type of surfaces you have down. But certainly Summerfeld, in terms of grass facilities, we've got some of the best, I would say the best grass facility of any training facility in South Africa. That there's no problem with at all. I think with the addition of polytrack, 6 metre wide polytrack on the outside of the number 3 grass track, it'll take care certainly of all horses' requirements in inclement weather, and any other horses that may use the polytrack for whatever reason that a trainer decides to use that as an alternate training surface. We've got, I think, enough sand tracks at Summerfeld. The plan is to widen the number 3 sand track. It used to be a 7 metre wide track. It's now been reduced to 5 metres, but the base is there. We're going to remove the curbing stone, put in a new irrigation system there, and widen that track back to 7 metres. It's a wonderful sand track. That's a wonderful gallop for horses, that number 3 track, because it starts at the bottom, and it's a 1,280 metre gallop, and it finishes the last 450 metres on quite a good incline. So that really gets the horses working that last bit. I think it's one of the great gallops. When the guys out were from Poly, they said to me, they think it's one of the great gallops they've seen, and these guys are experienced, they've travelled the world. So,
yeah. Having all these stables in place, what about electricity, water? Do you have problems with that type of thing?
There was a challenge with electricity, but we've managed to get Eskom on board. They've been very accommodating. We've got a whole substation that will supply all the new stables with electricity, and there's plenty of capacity. There's capacity for 3 horse walkers, capacity for most stables to have an infrared light, which they don't have.
One infrared light? Or?
Yeah. At least half the stables will be able to have an infrared light. Okay.
Do these horse walkers take a lot?
No, they don't take that
treadmills?
Much. Treadmills take quite a bit of electricity. You need 3 phase to run a treadmill, and there's enough electricity there for 3 treadmills. And well, there's only 3 treadmills in the whole of Summerfeld as it stands at the moment. So we've got capacity in terms of the new stable area. The challenge in the future is to try and upgrade the old stable area with a little bit more capacity.
Yeah. And then trotting rings?
Trotting rings. Our trotting ring at Summerfeld will be revamped in January or February this next year. And then we've got the trotting track in the infield, the smaller trotting track, that's also going to be revamped. And we've also got the old hardened trotting ring that David Payne used to love to trot his babies on, and we're thinking of upgrading that. That's about a 700 metre in circumference, 4 metre wide trotting track, and we can spend a bit of money on that, upgrading that as well. Ringing areas for the trainers will be a little bit of a challenge with 8 extra trainers coming there, but trainers work at different times, and we've identified 3 places where we can make new ringing areas, and I think that's sufficient.
Okay, let's talk about the Ashburton trainers. Now, there's some very, very good horses coming out of Ashburton today. They will want to work on the poly track. Now, they're going to come and race here. Well, what's their access like?
Well, look, we will give them access to the poly track at Summerfeld any time they want. There's no restriction on the number of horses that can use the poly track.
And private trainers?
And private trainers, private trainers as well. Doug Campbell wants to, and there's only 2 private trainers, I think, or 3. Koos de Klerk, Erasmus, Mark Pappas, who's got 7 or 8 horses in training. And I think Doug Campbell's got the largest private training facility. Doug's got about 50 horses at the moment. And any time he wants to come and use the track at Summerfeld, he's welcome to. But don't forget, once Gravel's up and running, Gravel's here, guys can use that Gravel track any time they want. And we're going to put on a float to Gravel 1 or 2 times a week, 3 times a week if necessary. It depends on the demand. And the guys will be able to come and utilise the track at Gravel as well. So there's going to be no shortage of opportunity for those horses to utilise that surface.
Tone, while we've got you here, you're involved with the Trainers Association and all that, and there's a lot of work going on with the trainers dealing with the NHA. How's that progressing?
Yeah, that's quite a tedious, tricky question and quite a tedious process. Look, what really happened is for a while, as you know, the trainers nationally haven't been happy with the penalties being meted out to trainers in South Africa when a horse has been found to be positive with a banned substance. And in terms of the National Horse Racing Authority's rules and guidelines, all substances are banned. A horse is not allowed to come to the race course with any substance, not an antibiotic, even a vitamin. They may not test for that, but every single substance is basically banned in the racehorse on race day. Now, a lot of the medications that trainers use, as you're well aware, are medications that help restore performance. These are not drugs. These are not your opiates and the doping horses that are going to help them run high, and these strong, opiate painkillers that horse can run with a broken leg it wouldn't know. And the penalties that have been meted out to trainers, I think a little while ago, trainers for Voltaren, which is a common anti-inflammatory preparation that you can buy over the counter at any pharmacy, which is very widely used by every single athlete and person in their home for any mild inflammatory response. A trainer was, I think, given a 65,000 rand fine.
So where do they get these amounts from, Tony?
I don't know where they get it from. I couldn't answer that.
And we're contesting it now.
This is what we're contesting.
Through attorney Robert Bloomberg.
Well, Robert Bloomberg, we decided to use Robert Bloomberg to represent the trainers' interest, mainly because Robert's, first of all, he's got huge experience in the racing industry. There's no other attorney you'll find that has this kind of experience in the racing industry. So that's a positive. He's a very intelligent man. He knows the industry backward. He's passionate about it. Who else would you choose to represent you but Robert Bloomberg? You've got to get people who know your industry, and that's a massive win.
Yeah, so having them and how are the talks progressing? Are we getting? I'm talking from a trainer's perspective. Are we getting somewhere?
Laf, yes, but possibly a little slower than we would like. The trainers have a meeting. I'm talking about a national meeting now. This coming Friday before the Ready to Run sale. We've initiated talks with the National Horse Racing Authority, dealing with these prohibited substances and practices, and the penalties attached thereto. And what we really want them to do is to look at what's gone before them. The international communities have these substances and these prohibited practices in place. The penalties associated, the severity of the banned substance that's used or found on the race day. And a lot of these things are just to restore performances. And the fines that are meted out to those trainers in those racing jurisdictions are really very mild. Often it's just a warning, up to a few £100 or a few $100 or to a few $1,000s. And I think we're trying to get them to harmonise the rules in South Africa that fall in line with an international norm. Why should trainers in South Africa? I mean, basically we like to think we're a first world country. Yes, we're a great racing country, but we're still a small racing jurisdiction compared to Australia, the whole of Europe, North America, even South America. So I think we just want fairness. I think that's all the trainers want. Objectivity from the National Horse Racing Authority, the willingness to engage with us in all matters and issues pertaining to racehorse trainers, because ultimately we also represent our owners, Lef, and we can't expect them, it's their hobby, to get directly involved in all these things. And ultimately they pay the price. If a horse comes up positive, they have to give the stake back, and we just feel that a lot of the penalties meted out for these offences, they don't fit the money involved. You race for, I think a trainer earns 3,700 Rand when he wins a race, and you've got a substance that's really used just to help a horse along, a small anti-inflammatory, and to be meted out with these massive penalties for a first offence. We just want them to play ball a little bit with us. Also, there's other issues we're dealing with as well. We're dealing with handicapping issues at the moment. There's a lot of discontent amongst the trainers regarding the way the handicappers are presently applying the handicapping, the merit-rated system. And it's not an exact science, handicapping, Lef, but there's certainly a lot of discontent amongst the trainers, and certainly even other, what I'd like to consider racing aficionados, at the methodology that is being employed to handicap horses at the moment. And that's a hot topic at the moment. We did request that Dave McGilvray take to the National Horse Racing Authority's last board meeting a request that we would form a national handicapping steering committee that's representative of each person from each region, a trainer, or a trainer can use a representative who may really know about handicapping. And that National Handicapping Steering Committee will meet with the handicappers on a reasonably regular basis to try and also harmonise the method of utilising the merit-rated system. Just an example would be that at the moment we're finding a lot of the handicappers are using horses, unplaced horses. Lovestruck was recently used in a Grade 2 race as a line horse when he ran 6th out of 8 or 9 runners. In fact, they dropped his rating, and for us to use an unplaced horse that you're dropping in rating, that's not running to his rating, as a line horse to then rate horses that finished ahead of him, it seems ludicrous. I've got this little, it's a personal thing that, you know, reading a race life is like reading a book. You know, it comprises many chapters. Reading the first paragraph and reading the last paragraph is not going to, you're not going to know what the plot was, how it unfolded. You might know, you know, it's going to give you an introduction, and it's going to give you that A killed B or A raped C, you know, depending which country.
My type of book.
Yeah, your type of book. But certainly it's not going to give you the full picture, and I think that's why we want to engage with them.
Tony, it's been wonderful. The time has flown. I think we're going to have to get you in here. We're going to touch on this, and possibly with a handicapper, with someone like that. But I think I'd like to thank Tony for coming in and just expounding on a few things and some very interesting topics there. We're going to get him back in some other time, but that's this week your call.